been the key to Manchester United this season, scoring so many more goals, almost 3 times as many as the nearest Rashford and Mkhitaryan and Juan Mata. He's been so successful since that free transfer from PSG. Big question as to where Manchester United go now.
Can't look at those replays, you know.
No, well, obviously, guys, you know it.
Maybe some people can. I know my experience in playing and people having injuries. It's horrible to look at, even something like that, which looks bad. We don't know exactly yet, but you're right. I mean, big player, but big opportunity for a guy who played great in the game against Chelsea. We think Marcus Rashford.
Sure.
So one guy's misfortune, and it looks like it's a hell of a misfortune, is a big opportunity for a very young man with potentially a big future.
Before we talk about what this means for United, what does this mean for Zlatan?
He gone.
But his contract is up at the end of the season. Obviously, didn't sign a new one.
Yeah, if all these reports are confirmed, I don't see why Manchester United would keep Zlatan Ibrahimovic. It doesn't make sense financially for Manchester United to do so. And for Zlatan Ibrahimovic, is now a sort of a wait-and-see sort of game. See how his recovery is, how all the things that he has to do in order to make himself ready and available to be playing again, and whether he wants to do it as well, because he's not a young guy, 36 years old. I just think that at this point, Zlatan Ibrahimovic has played his last match for Manchester United.
Am I being naive and romantic to think maybe they'll just say, we'll give you another season because of what he's given this campaign?
I think if Ibrahimovic was a bit younger, they would have taken that chance. I mean, they did so with Roy Keane some years back, but of course Roy Keane was much younger in his time and expected to make a recovery. Roy Keane was also going out of contract at the time as well. But not at this age. You do want to wait to see if he can recover, and then if and when he does, what type of shape he's in. The other thing is, of course, is he's on an awful lot of money, and that's a lot to spend on the speculation of a 36-year-old recovering from a horrific injury.
But I would seriously go. My opinion is completely opposite. I don't think Man United and most quality clubs with a big budget are in the business of throwing players who have been injured like this on the scrap heap.
Right.
I don't. Right. And I think he may not sign a contract with them. He may decide to go somewhere else, but I think he'll be offered one. I don't think Man United will say, "Oh, you've been great for us. April, you've got potentially a cruciate injury. All right, see you later." I honestly don't think they're in that business.
Well, they may take care of him in terms of the injury part of it, but I don't see, if you look at it at numbers, why, if you're Manchester United, you keep that number on the books if you don't have to. It gives you. I know this is not about feelings, so it gives you a way out. If you didn't think that this player was going to be ready and available for you to produce the things that you want him to produce, look, you take care of his injury, but after that, it's game, set, match.
I thought it'd be Craig showing the feelings.
No, but it's just the way I think I know that a club like this would work. I've been in England for a long time. I might be wrong, I don't know. I just think they will not be seen to be throwing somebody on the scrap heap because he's got a cruciate injury now. They can soak it. They can sponge it up, his wages, easily. I mean, they can go periods without being in the Champions League, and they're still, along with Real Madrid and Barcelona, making tons of cash, more by the day, with sponsorship around the world. I personally don't think they will throw him in the scrap heap. I think they will give him an opportunity to sign.
Just the thing is, as ex-players, we'd love to see Manchester United do exactly as Craig is suggesting, because we know how fragile being a player is, this profession is. The trouble is, we've also seen and experienced far too often where clubs do exactly as we are suggesting. When players go down with injuries, clubs are happy to turn their backs on them.
Reports are suggesting that Zlatan Ibrahimovic could be out for the rest of this season with an injury that we saw he picked up in that game against Anderlecht in the UEFA Europa League. Alejandro Moreno is joining me for this one. Alejandro, just how catastrophic will this be for United and for the rest of the campaign, both for Europa League and Premier League, trying to get a top 4 spot?
Well, of course, it's terrible news for Zlatan and certainly terrible news for Manchester United. When you think about a team that, first of all, struggles to create opportunities, and then once they create those opportunities, they struggle to take advantage of those chances.
Oh, yes.
Zlatan Ibrahimovic at times during the season, has single-handedly carried this team in terms of goal production. So if he's not around, it hurts you in a couple of ways. The fact that he's not scoring goals, and then the fact that when he's on the field, he attracts so much attention to himself that frees other people to get opportunities. Now, a guy like Marcus Rashford has to step into a position where he has to score the goals. It's no longer a situation where, he's a young, talented guy. We're going to wait for him and let him mature and grow up. No, growing up is going to have to take place right now. And then whatever happened with Wayne Rooney. Is he back? Is he going to be able to play and add something of value to this team? Right now would be the right time for Wayne Rooney to do something significant for Manchester United this season.
Well, interesting what you say about, of course, Marcus Rashford, and we see it with Lingard and all the other youngsters on Man United right now. And I'm not one to celebrate anyone's injury, especially Zlatan's, you know this, but the timing of this injury, isn't it perfect then for this team of Man United players that everyone has enjoyed watching recently, at least the last couple of weeks?
Look, as a former player, there is never a perfect time for an injury of this kind. A knee injury like this is one that nobody wants to happen. And a player like Zlatan Ibrahimovic deserves better because of the performance that he has had throughout the course of the season. Now, to your point, they played well against Chelsea without Zlatan, and everybody was saying, well, that's it. Rashford in, Zlatan out.
Take him out.
Okay, well, now, because of necessity, it is indeed Zlatan out, Marcus Rashford in, and we'll see. I don't think that at this point in his career, Marcus Rashford is Zlatan Ibrahimovic. He may become something like that, but not quite yet.
And quickly, what does this spell for Zlatan then and his future at Man United? Because that's going to be the main focus now.
We'll have to wait and see as to what the terms of the injury is and the details and how bad this really is, because it may just be that this is the end of the time of Zlatan Ibrahimovic at Manchester United. If it is a terrible injury and one that is going to leave him out for a long period of time, then it doesn't feel like he would be back with Manchester United. And that's something that he would regret, and I think Manchester United would regret as well.
That's true, but at the end of the day, he is Zlatan. And we'll
he'll be fine.
We pick him to bounce back either way. Hopefully he does have, indeed, a speedy recovery. We'll continue tracking details of his injury here at Jose Mourinho is saying some very interesting comments. He's saying that now United may have a use for Wayne Rooney. And this is his time to step up because he is that kind of player. Alejandro, you've been talking recently about game changers like Cristiano Ronaldo for Real Madrid. Is Wayne Rooney still that player for Man United that could turn things around? I have to ask.
No, he's not. Not right now.
So what's Jose Mourinho playing at then?
The fact that he's looking down the bench and he says, Fellaini? Maybe, yeah, Moran, come on down. Look, right now, I don't know. Manchester United is limited when they look at attacking personnel and attacking talent. And Mkhitaryan has shown to be a player that can do some positive things for United. Juan Mata's not around. Wayne Rooney now becomes the one option of somebody who can perhaps create underneath the striker. Maybe you get Marcus Rashford to stretch the back lines of other teams and create some space underneath for Wayne Rooney, and maybe that's where he can operate. But if you get the version of Wayne Rooney that is getting the ball from the back four and trying to distribute from somewhere in their defensive half, that's not game-changing.
But Jose Mourinho spoke about specifically, not necessarily his physical attributes right now, but he said his mental toughness and his work rate is something that United can use right now, given all the injuries. Do those count for anything now?
Well, they count for something, but they're not going to put the ball in the back of the net, and they're not going to make Wayne Rooney any faster, any quicker now. They're not going to make it any younger. They're not going to make him any more explosive. So, yes, mental toughness works. Great. Attitude, work rate, yes, that's fine. You need all of that. But you also need to have the physical tools in order to perform at a high level and be the player that you once were. Right now, at this point of his career, Wayne Rooney is a good player, but not a great player.
So you think he's still better off on the bench?
Well, no. If I had him on the team and with the options that I have available, I'll put Wayne Rooney in. But it's not because I feel like Wayne is going to change the game for me. It's because when I look at the other options that I have, I say, oh, my God. Put Wayne in. Rooney!
Last gasp. Final resort. All right, there you have it. This is what poor Wayne Rooney has been reduced to, last resort. But that is the way the cookie crumbles in football, isn't
I
it?
guess so.
No, but we are in trouble. We are in trouble. In this moment, Eric Bailly played, I think, 6 matches in a row. 540 minutes in a row. We lost Marcos Rojo. We don't have Jones, we don't have Smalling. We are in trouble. And now we lose Zlatan too. But in attack, we have options, and Rune is coming, and let's see if Mata can also return before the end of the season. Let's see what happens.
Doesn't leave you with many centre backs if bad news for Roma.
No, I think it's time. We have Deli Blind. We have Deli Blind that has experience in the position, and I think it's time for Jones and Smalling to be brave, to risk, because for the team you have to do everything. That's the way I think. You cannot do miracles, so miracles I don't expect, but you have to try to do everything to accelerate the process.
We've just seen the Europa League semi-final draw, and in the second game we see Celta Vigo take on Man United. Now, online, Man United fans seem happy with that. What are your thoughts?
I mean, look, United are probably the best team in the competition. I mean, not probably, they actually who are, fourth place and 1 million points behind, figuratively speaking, off the Champions League places in Ligue 1. Or indeed, Ajax, who are fighting for the title in Holland, but that's in the Eredivisie, where it's quite different. Celta, of course, they've beaten Real Madrid this season. Field, you get it's a very attacking, forward-thinking style of play, and it's not something that teams are generally used to playing against. It's almost a high-risk, high-reward approach from Celta. So I think that's something that Mourinho's going to have to prepare for.
How do you think Man United will approach this game?
Well, it's interesting. With United, a lot's going to depend on, if we assume Zlatan Ibrahimovic will not be there. Obviously, after the injury he suffered against Anderlecht. They're favoured. Jose Mourinho's won this competition before. It's one of many competitions he's won. He knows how to prepare a two-legged tie. But I don't think he'll be taking Celta lightly.
I feel like you're leaning towards Man United winning that game, though. Are you leaning towards them winning going all the way?
They are the best team in the competition.
Yeah.
But I think there are some awkward matchups potentially.
Thank you very, very much, Gab Marcotti. For more football news, keep it right here on ESPN FC.
Week 34 is an absolute nightmare. It's a double game week. What do? Well, I'm going to give you 2 teams. This squad, made up of the 3 teams that are all playing twice, Crystal Palace, Manchester United and Middlesbrough, and another team full of players who are only playing once, is don't take too many hits, because there's another couple of double game weeks coming up in 36 and 37. Don't go crazy, because 3 teams have got double game weeks. So to the other team, those players who play only once. I like this team. With Petr Cech in goal, Andrew Robertson, Martin Olsson and Charlie Daniels at the back. Kamil Grosicki, he could be your differential this week. A lot of people have got rid of Gylfi Sigurdsson. Swansea at home to Stoke, he could return. Decent numbers there. Alexis Sanchez back others, and Josh King, I think he could have a good week against Middlesbrough this weekend. The front 2, I wouldn't put you off Sergio Aguero at home to Manchester United, and Harry Kane. It's pretty expensive. I think the big dilemma this week, if you've got Zlatan, you captain him and you keep your fingers crossed. If you don't, honestly, I wouldn't bother getting him.